don't know why the thing must have set up earlier and I didn't hit the live button or whatever, so I might have decided to go and have a shower before I did this. Just a quick one, just to let you know what's going on. I was in meetings last night, so I couldn't put a live together. There are a few interesting things that we were going to talk about, including the pop-up in some places of third-party postal vote applications. Now, if you've had that happen to you, a third-party postal vote application has turned up in your letterbox. It'll be a pack in an envelope. They'll want you to fill it in and return it to the address. It will look like it's quite official. It'll look like it's AEC. The fact of the matter is postal voting for this bullshit referendum has not been released yet. So there are no applications or indeed postal votes available yet from the AEC. So if you are getting that in your mail, then please do not fill it out. Do not return it. It's, vote rigging 101. All parties have done it, I think, in the past, where they'll put out a how to vote card and offer to mail your postal vote for you. Here is a postal vote. If you just fill that in, send it back to us, we'll send it on to the AEC. Of course, when you address it to them, it's sent back to an office, their office. It's not addressed to the AEC. That means they're entitled to open it, and they do. They find out which way you're voting, and well, variously it's been described as changes or complete omissions of votes. Is something that's been regular, probably more so. Well, I couldn't say more so in one state than the other, but I know in Queensland it's been a predominant thing for a while. G'day, George. Hello, Sandy. Gorgeous woman. What are you doing wandering around this time of the day? You should be out patting donkeys, shouldn't you? Might be a bit warm down where you are. It's a beautiful day up here today, and in the T-shirt for the first time. Yeah, so people still ringing me. It's the wrong time of day to do lives as well. So yeah, be aware of this postal vote application bullshit. And if you've got people who are thinking about doing a postal vote for this bullshit referendum, steer them clear of it. It's just a way of vote rigging. Tell them they might meet some nice people standing in the line waiting to vote that day. Beware the sausages. You know what they say about the sausages these days. Haven't had too many. In fact, I can't think of a Bunnings sausage sizzle that I've stopped at since I learned about a lot of things with sausages and other bits. So, yeah, rather unpleasant. Not saying all sausages are like that. There are many, many award-winning sausages, I'm sure. But I'm just a bit wary of them these days. Cass Smith will be coming on the show Friday night. I think I said she might either be on either last night. She was one of the people I was in a meeting with last night. But unavailable tonight. She will be coming on tomorrow night, though, for a Friday night show. If you haven't seen it, I did recommend the other night for you to go and watch The Big Short. It's available, I think it was on Netflix. It might be on Prime or somewhere one of those other ones. Pretty sure it was Netflix. Very, very good movie about the 2008 global financial crisis. In fact, the shorting of the home loan market, the subprime market, and how that all happened. It's interesting to note that the bloke that discovered and predicted what was going to happen in 2008, and this is essentially the story of that discovery and how they moved on to take advantage of it, is the only way to describe what they did. They bet against the housing market and bet against the American economy. And of course, they were right. Now, that same bloke who was years ahead of his time when he predicted that this was going to happen, I don't think he realised quite the depth of the corruption involved, but Michael Burry has, in the last few days, put $1.3 billion of his wealth out of reach of the markets and started investing in things that the market can't affect. So if that's not an indicator, and he's saying that the market is due for another phenomenal global crash. He was the bloke who predicted it months and years ahead of time last time. So, yeah, sorry, J1, did I get a time wrong? Apologise. Yeah, so he was the guy who predicted the crash, and the one essentially that others came to understand as, well, the first guy to have spotted it. He's made no bones about what he's seeing again now, and I think it was $1.3 billion of his own wealth he's removed from the market and put into other areas. Somebody was trying to tell me he's invested in some sort of water scheme. Unsure, don't know much about that, but might be something to go and have a look at. Aussie Sue, nice to see you in here too. Hookster's in the house. Haven't seen you around for a while. Peter Grace. Peter Grace guide. Me guide, yeah, right. I used to work with a Peter Grace years ago. Well, when I say work with, I don't think we ever worked together, but we sort of blew in and out of the same buildings at times. Pinaroo, beautiful part of the world, man. Beautiful part of the world. You got your postal vote yesterday, and in it back it had the Liberals and why not to vote. Well, by the sound of it, Peter Dutton's got a whole new idea on what the Liberals want us to vote for, and how different will it be to this one? Why would we waste another, 30, 40, $100 million on another vote? I don't know what Peter Dutton's thinking. He's doing a John Farnham. He's going to alienate what little audience he has left. And, yeah, very unpleasant. So I hope things are going all right up in the Isa, Sue. Be starting to get a little bit warm up your way. And our plans to come up into far north Queensland and maybe out to Mount Isa might have to be put off until the rain and the heat and the humidity disappear. I don't want to kill a certain old pirate in the heat, you know how it is. But we're going to investigate that, and we'll be coming your way, hopefully sooner rather than later. I know that there are a lot of folks, particularly north of Rocky, Rocky included, that are looking forward to seeing us come back. So we will be coming, have no fear. We've just got to try and arrange a time, place, and everything else that means, A, we're not going to get stuck, because we all know what the Bruce Highway can be like when it rains, particularly over the wet season. And B, just got to work in with a bit of timing for other things that are happening around the country that we do want to be associated with and we're going to be turning up to. So a bit of travel time involved there. So if you're interested in getting on the road when we get on the road, which isn't in the too distant future, say, for instance, let me just give you a for instance, in October, if you were, I don't know, looking for a bit of a holiday before the school holidays, get in before the school kids get in, and you didn't mind a bit of a road trip, might be, I guess 3,000 or 4,000 kilometres return from Brisbane, get in touch, Rachel@vofhq.com. I'm going to have to start calling her the tour coordinator. But if you do want to come on the road, we'd love to have you. If you want to go and stay in your own accommodation, want to call into caravan parks, stay there, or do whatever you want to do, great. We're going to try and find as much free accommodation as we can, free camping areas as we can, and hopefully meet up with a lot of people who are living out on the road at the moment too, and probably not by choice, but they're doing the best that they can. So we want to go out, meet those folks, hear their stories, and eventually get to your town and tell yours too, and it will happen. So October, just vaguely saying, and then probably November, and then we'll see what we can do about December. There might be, it's harder to travel, I think, during the Christmas school holidays for a lot of people, and it's just a pain in the ass because of so many people traveling. If you pick your times, and I'm one of those folks who likes to travel at night, so you'll probably find me pulling up stumps at 6 o'clock at night and disappearing off into the distance, and driving all night to get somewhere, rather than during the day, particularly during school holidays. So things to be aware of. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if anybody wants to join us, and I've had expressions of interest from various different people. In fact, you guys have probably heard me talk about my Mason before. Well, I'm really hoping that Mason and his lovely other half, Donna, can come on the road. She's undergone some surgeries over the last couple of years, which have made life, more difficult than it needed to be for her. And hopefully we'll be able to get her back on her feet properly, get him on the road, and I think I'd have to make him our road manager. When you meet Mason, you'll understand why. So I don't know, that's the first time he's heard about this too. So he's either fallen down in his chair right now, laughing his ass off, or is getting quite worried. Not quite sure which way that's going to go. Anyway, he doesn't have to take the job. There are plenty of others. But yeah, maybe we do need like a road crew organiser, because there have been a lot of people who've said they'd like to come. It doesn't mean you've got to come on the road, full time. You've got to give up your life, sell your house and move. Not at all. But if we happen to be going past your part of the world and we're, heading north for the next couple of weeks, and you can take some time off and might want to join us, well, we'd love to have you. It's all part of the family thing, and as we trek around the countryside, we'll be dropping the My Place seeds left and right, because I truly believe that a My Place in your area is the key to all our success. Unity through community, and while all ideas are welcome to be presented, don't be too upset if yours, for whatever reason, doesn't get up. It might be the best idea to you, but the nice thing about these My Places is that they are geared to communities and what's best for the people, plural, not best for one or two. And I'm not suggesting that your idea might be like that, but if you are going in with ideas, then make them for the people. Unify the people. Give us a way to bring the town next door, the suburb next door, the neighbour next door into the fold. Now, I had a conversation last night with a mate of mine who I've worked with for probably, since the mid-90s anyway. I think we've probably known each other. And he's been a very good, close mate of mine for many years. He's the kind of mate that you don't talk to for 6 months and pick up the phone and take off on the conversation you left off 6 months ago. So he hasn't necessarily been in our camp. He's not a boat rocker, unlike me. And it was interesting to have a conversation with him last night, after having had some previously over the last 3 years, where he was very much a fence sitter, and didn't want to come down either way, just did what he had to do to go to work and keep the family safe, that kind of thing. And thankfully have had no medical issues ensuing from their decisions. But last night, in the conversation with him, he was animated. He was real animated about the voice and the idiocy of the yes arguments. He used the term that people have had enough. We've had enough. We've had enough, over and over and over and over again. It wasn't just in reference to the voice. It was in reference to quite a few of the other things. Do you want to see how weird things happen here at this house? Let me just, there you go. Come here, you. We've got some crumbs on the table because we've got a couple of very friendly magpies who like to come out on the table in the mornings and say hello. So he's quite likely to come wandering over here and say good day, he or she. Does anybody know how you sex magpies? I know it's swooping season. These ones don't seem to be swooping too much. They swoop in, take something out of your hand, and swoop the fuck off again. But yeah, you couldn't call them in need of wearing a hat with a million zip ties hanging off it. But is there a way of looking at a bird and telling whether it's a male or a female, or in fact identifies as something different? Because you've got to ask these days, don't you? At any rate, these magpies that we have around here are very friendly. We've got some kookaburras that get around here too occasionally that are also reasonably friendly, not quite as up close as this one. This one's about 2 feet from, not even that, a foot from me, has absolutely no fear. If I had something in my hand it could eat, it would walk over and take it out of it. So I like that. I like that animals feel comfortable around me. Yeah, you too. You can piss off. Don't shit on the table. See, you invite them into your house, and what happens? All right, gonna have to go and wipe the table. So, yeah, tonight, all things being equal, I'm working with some people in America to try and put together an interview, and we've been having some issues with time zones and cross messaging and missing calls, weird stuff. The interview that I'm being offered is a significant interview. I think it's a significant interview, but there are quite a number of hoops for me to jump through for it. And so, for whatever reason, the people that are talking to me like to talk to me just prior to the times that I need to go on air, or sort of during the time that I'm on air, and they're not very able to shift their time. So I hope this is all worth it in the end. I'm starting to have some concerns about the rigmarole, but I'm not sure if there is actually any reality behind the cloak that I'm being presented. So softly, softly, catchy monkey is the old saying, and I'll let you know more about that as soon as I know. But there is another one of those sort of weird meetings planned for this evening. I will endeavour to do something either prior to that time or something again afterwards, and let you know if I can update you at all on that. Now, to Gulawa, some wonderful stuff, interview front. It's, like I say, I'm just starting to doubt that a little bit. I do have a few things I've got to nip out and do, and Rachel is turning up for a meeting in the near future, so I'm probably in trouble, as she's driven all the way here to come and face me. I'm in trouble again. All right, I'll let you know more about that tonight. Have a great day. If you're out on the roads, well, watch the dickheads as always. If you're out in the sun, it used to be slip, slop, slap, but I don't know if that's so good for you anymore. You know, what's true, what's not?